Hello. Okay, let's get into it. I'm currently pretty pregnant and we're sitting on a bed. So, first, I should introduce myself. My name is Katie Fassett. I am a mom to 4 boys with a fifth on the way, and we don't know what it's going to be, girl or boy. We're pretty excited about it. Either gender. It's going to be a fun time. But I'm married to my husband of almost 10 years. He's currently in seminary to become a pastor after being in the finance world for almost 10 years. So it's just kind of been a journey in our life these last few years. And I'm just here on YouTube sharing about my experience as a mom, especially my experience of being in an MLM for 6 years and just the good, the bad, the ugly. I have a few videos on that if you're interested in watching that type of stuff. But today I'm going to talk to you about my 6 pregnancies. So there was a miscarriage in there. So quick disclaimer for that. If you are triggered or sensitive to that topic, I won't be going into any gory details about my miscarriage, but it will come up as one of my pregnancies. And I did learn things from that one as well. So that's coming. Also, quick disclaimer, this is not medical advice. This is just me purely sharing mistakes that I personally felt I made and what I learned from those mistakes. And hopefully what I'm hoping to get out of this video is that you just feel less alone. I think we tend to put a lot of pressure on ourselves when we're pregnant, or we can just get stuck in a certain way of thinking. And maybe this video will just kind of help you snap out of that negative loop you kind of got yourself into, or it'll encourage you in this pregnancy or in a future pregnancy. And if you're not pregnant or planning on becoming pregnant anytime soon, or you're done having kids, I think you'll just enjoy listening to my story, or I hope you do. So with that, let's get into it. If you hear any sort of background noise, my kids are home now. My husband is on kid duty, and also he's doing the dishes, and I'm not about to tell him to stop doing the dishes so I can make a video. So if you hear some clanking, some banging, some children, 2 of them are napping, one of them is home, one of them is playing with a friend. So that's the chaos that we're in. But with that, let's get into it. Let's start with pregnancy number 1. I was 22 years old when I got pregnant with my first baby. Was I 22? Yeah, I was 22. Anyways, I think my biggest mistake was feeling like my body was going to fall apart. Not that it felt like it was going to fall apart, just in my mind, I was scared less, poop less. Let's just say the PG version of everything. Like, I was scared to walk too much, walk too little, exercise, what I was going to eat. And then instead of going like a healthier route, then I just ended up like eating my feelings because I was really stressed about it all. I chalk it up to just kind of being immature and not really understanding that, pregnancy isn't like a medical condition where you have like a disease or something. Like, it's a normal function. I understand some women do, like, things can happen, but I was having a very average, uncomplicated pregnancy. I was young, and I just ended up eating my feelings. I was super nervous to work out. I remember just feeling like everything I was going to do was going to hurt the baby. I feel like I had like a weird, just kind of like unhappy pregnancy. Not that I was unhappy. I just think I was struggling within myself because I thought when I was a mom, I would have everything figured out, and I didn't. And so I just had a lot of like pent up feelings and just kind of like ate my feelings, and I ended up gaining the most I've ever gained in any of my pregnancies that time. So I think what I wish I would have done was just let go of control, give it to God, stop just like consuming all the things around pregnancy, and really just kind of go on with normal life instead of acting like I can't lift that, I can't do this, I'm scared because I'm pregnant. So just, I think that confidence as a mother, I was really lacking in that first pregnancy. So if you resonated with any of that, please let me know. And let's go on to pregnancy number 2. Pregnancy number 2, I just came off a pretty rough postpartum. We had just moved. I was struggling to find friends, I was one of my first of any of my friends to have kids for a very long time. Like, most of my kids, their kids are the same age as like my youngest ones. And so I was a mom for quite a long time before my friends were. So I was just kind of out here roughing it as a new mom, and I really struggled. And so I remember when that second pregnancy came around, I had just hit like a year postpartum. We found out we were pregnant again. I definitely took the approach of like, I kind of went like two extremes. I was so lazy my first pregnancy and I ate so horribly. I'm going to just like exercise and really pretend that there's nothing going on besides I'm just going on with regular life. And so I think I did put a lot of pressure on myself to do things perfectly again, but in a different way, if I'm making any sense at all. I had also joined Beachbody at that time, halfway through my second pregnancy, and that kind of fed into this, I don't know, delusion that I could be this like perfect fit pregnant mom. And what that ended up doing was I struggled even more postpartum. So, I don't think we really learned our lesson, but I will say that I didn't really have a lot of symptoms at pregnancy. I felt like my first pregnancy had so much heartburn, so many like just other symptoms, and gained so much and had so much fluid inflammation. And with my second, I did kind of find that confidence, and I was able to go unmedicated for my labor and delivery. I felt like I gained the least. I did have some more confidence as a mom. I think my biggest lesson was just balance is key, and there's just perfection is out the window, and trying to juggle pregnancy was just a big fat reality check. So I think my tip for any moms who are pregnant with your second and you're just feeling super nervous about how am I going to be able to give love to both my kids once they're here, you got this. And I also think it's okay to let your guard down and ask for help, because I feel like with my second pregnancy, I kind of was like, I got this now. I don't need any help. I don't need anyone. I figured this out. I know exactly what I'm going to do. And it kind of just like closed, and it was very hard for me to let go of control and let other people in. And that's another reason why I struggled with postpartum depression and anxiety and ended up going on medication for my anxiety that postpartum. So I think just learn that it's okay to ask for help, even if you feel like, well, this person has more kids and I can't even handle these two. And it's like, it's not that you can't handle it. It's just that postpartum is hard. Pregnancy can be hard. So lean on that community and don't be afraid to admit that, hey, even though this is my second pregnancy, I don't quite have it all figured out. Because now, as a mom of almost 5, I am totally okay with saying, I don't have it all figured out. I'm still working on it. So I think just that was another layer of maturity that has come as I've aged, as I've had more kids. So that's my story of my second. Okay, now we're into pregnancy number 3. I forgot to say, with my second pregnancy, I was 24. With my third pregnancy, I was 26. So we've kind of had all our kids a little bit 2 years apart. And I think with that third pregnancy, I just really kind of pushed my own care and needs to the side, because I was dealing with a not even 4-year-old. Like, I was dealing with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I was pregnant, and I just felt like I don't even have time to rest. I have no time. Like, I just remember working my little booty off and just feeling so tired. And what I learned was, you need to rest, and you're not a bad mom if you need to take a nap, or if you need to slow down, or if you need to pass off some things to your spouse or to somebody else, and that it's okay for your children to see you slow down. It's okay for them to see that you need to rest a little bit. Like, man, I think that a lot of us would probably do well to see people around us or our parents just rest a little bit more, especially in this fast paced world. And so just reminding myself that, like, hey, my kids are little, and it's okay that I'm not just like jumping up and down on the trampoline and, flying down slides with them. Like, this is a season, and mom needs to slow down and take care of baby and take some rest and have a bath and all those things. So that was, I think, my biggest mistake with that third pregnancy, was just trying to just keep going through life when I really needed to just slow down a little bit, because then, baby comes and life just gets crazier and crazier. So that's a lesson that I learned. If you're on your third pregnancy, just remember that rest is important too. It's not selfish, it's necessary. And I'm not saying like, no, just lounge around all day. I'm just saying, make the time to rest and relax and prep and just soak in this pregnancy. It doesn't have to just be this go, 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 go because you have 2 other kids to care for. Okay, let's go on to pregnancy number 4, which is also the miscarriage. So another trigger warning. My mistake with my pregnancy that ended up being a miscarriage was that I sometimes wish I would have savored it a little bit more. I told people pretty soon, not everyone. Like I hadn't even gotten a chance to tell my mom yet because I was waiting to see her in person. Hadn't even told my mother-in-law yet. It was just like my sisters, and then I had told like a couple close friends. But otherwise, it just was, kind of in those early stages of pregnancy, which is, pretty common to have a miscarriage. I've learned, like I think 1 out of 3 women will experience one. So I would not be surprised if the woman watching this right now, if you have had a miscarriage. But I wish I would have just soaked it in and just really just thanked God every single day for this baby and just thought about baby. And, I had 3 kids at that point. So I was just busy running from thing to thing. And it was just, I do regret that. Another thing with that pregnancy is when I was having the miscarriage, I remember going to my sister's and I was just freaking out because my mom gut knew that something wasn't right. I'd started to bleed and I had gone in at 7 weeks and they had done the tests and whatever. And I had told them like, I'm bleeding and I'm nervous that it's a miscarriage. And we did all the tests and I was pregnant and everything was positive. And then they said, we'll do an ultrasound on Friday. This was a Tuesday. And I just remember thinking, I don't want to wait this long. And then that evening I got home and that's when I had the miscarriage. And I remember messaging my sister saying, I don't know what to do and I'm freaking out. And my sisters, they had never experienced one. And so the people that I normally could go to for advice, I just felt so alone and they were the only ones who knew too. So I felt like I was very alone in that season because I didn't even know who to message and say like, pray for me or any advice or I'm going through a miscarriage. Like I had only told a couple people. And so it was just me and my husband. And I just remember just being so mad and angry. It was, and this sounds so crazy to say out loud, but it was one of those things where, you see other people go through hardship and you're just like, that won't happen to me. And I had 3 totally healthy, normal, uncomplicated pregnancies and then this miscarriage. And I was still, what was I, 28? And so, or 27? 20, whatever. Anyways, I should have my dates correct before I do this. But I was still young and I just felt very angry with God. Like, why me? Why are you doing this to me? What have I done wrong? And it just kind of showed me that motherhood comes in all shapes and sizes and pregnancies don't always end up the way that you want. And it also showed me that I'm not in control of this life. I'm not in control of what children get to live, what children die, how long my life is. Like, this is so out of my control. And I felt like up until that point, I had kind of been able to like control my surroundings and my life and my family. And this pregnancy, the one that ended in a miscarriage, just really had me surrendering to God of, okay, I am not in control and I give it to you, Lord. Like, I don't know why this is happening. I don't know why and why me and why now and why can't this just end in a happy baby? So I think, I don't even know if this is a tip or a mistake made, but I think my biggest regret is just that I didn't savor it. And of course it's easier to say that now looking back, but if you're pregnant right now, whether you're 4 weeks along or 20 weeks along or whatever, just remember to just appreciate this life that is growing inside you, no matter how long you get to carry this baby. It is a pregnancy, it is a baby, it is a life, and it's worth celebrating. So just embrace your pregnancy, have fun with it, be excited. And that miscarriage taught me is just no matter how long you get to carry that baby, it is a gift. So moving on to our 5th pregnancy. With our 5th pregnancy, and man, I don't know, this might have been my most favorite pregnancy, even though it was very stressful time in our life. We had our miscarriage in December, and then in February, we found out we were expecting again. So it was kind of a quick turnaround, shall we say, to this next pregnancy. And that was kind of hard to wrap my mind around because sometimes I would feel this immense guilt from the miscarriage. Like, I would have been this far along with this baby, or does that baby think that I forgot about them? Just kind of the regular mom guilt that we all have. And so the beginning parts of my pregnancy, there was definitely a lot of anxious feelings of, is this going to happen again? And after those feelings went away and I kind of made it past that 12-week mark, I just feel that I finally had accepted that my body gains a lot of weight during pregnancy. Like, even the pregnancy, my second one, where I didn't gain as much, it still was around, like the 50 pounds, which is a lot to a lot of women. To me, I'm just like, 50 pounds? NBD. My first one was 70. So anyways, I gain a lot of weight and I always lose it afterwards. And that was the same with my mom. She had 7 kids. She would gain a lot of weight. She would lose it afterwards. So I've just kind of accepted my fate that this is how I grow babies. And with that 4th pregnancy, I just kind of owned it. I was like, with that 5th one, I was like, you know what? I'm going to gain a lot of weight. And this is just what my body does. And then I'm going to lose it afterwards because that's also what my body does. And I can do this. And I'm not going to act like it's this giant ordeal and it's so hard. I'm just going to go on with my regular life. I'm going to gain the weight and then I will put in the work to lose the weight afterwards. And I just felt like I had this very healthy mindset around my body changing and around my postpartum body. Like, I was already just kind of prepping myself for that. So that is a huge lesson that I learned in that pregnancy. And I hope that encourages you too. I really do feel like it just helped me postpartum to just own it. Like, hey, I'm going to gain a lot of weight and then I will work to lose it. And it just will happen because I'm just going to put the work in and I'm not going to make a big deal about it. And I felt like it was just the smoothest, like, pregnancy, like labor and delivery was awesome. And my postpartum was awesome. And I also just felt like I had just so much love and just excitement around this baby because I had lost our previous pregnancy. And so I just felt like so much grace from God and just like it was such a gift to be able to have this 4th baby. So that is what I learned from that is just acceptance of what my body does during pregnancy. So if you're on your 3rd or your 4th, or even if you're on your 1st or your 2nd, just know that our bodies are doing exactly what they need to do and your body is amazing and you're going to figure this out postpartum, and just give yourself grace and having just that kind of realistic view of, hey, I'm going to gain weight and hey, my body's not going to bounce back right away, but I'm just going to take care of myself and I'm going to, drink water and get my steps in and eat as well as I can. And just, some days I'll work out and then some days I won't. And I'm just going to just have some grace. So I hope that's encouraging to you. You can do this and it'll probably be your best postpartum and pregnancy yet if you adapt that or adopt that attitude now. I feel kind of vulnerable sharing where I'm at with my 6th pregnancy now because I wish I could say, like, I'm handling it so well and I'm just a rock star at this now. But this maybe has been one of my most difficult pregnancies mentally. We're pregnant YouTube here. So if you haven't seen that one, go watch it. But essentially, we wanted a 5th. I just didn't really want to have one right now. And so our natural family planning turned into a sort of surprise pregnancy. Okay. Am I surprised how it happened? No, I'm not an idiot, but it wasn't quite when I wanted it to happen. So I feel like I've had to just surrender this 5th pregnancy expectations. And I wasn't quite ready for my body to go through these changes again. I felt like I just needed a break from babies. And I remember telling my friends at the beginning of the year, like we had like a girls' weekend together. And I was telling them, they had asked like, okay, you're going to have more kids. And I said, yeah, I know I'm going to want more, but I just really need a break mentally. Like, I just need a break from having babies. I need a break. I just want to enjoy being with the kids that I have now and, fitting into the clothes that I like. And I just felt like I was really getting into like my fashion again and like clothes that I really love to wear. And then all of a sudden, bam, April, May, I'm pregnant. And then all summer I was first trimester just feeling tired and exhausted. And so I have just had to surrender a lot this pregnancy. And it just kind of showed me that man, even if you're on your whatever 10th pregnancy or whatever pregnancy you're on, there's always growth, and we're not perfect, and there's always something to learn and to grow from. And for me, this pregnancy, it's really just accepting that, oh my goodness, like can I handle this? I haven't mentally prepared myself, because with all our other pregnancies, they were, like we tried to get pregnant. We were actively trying, and we're ready for the next step. And so I feel like it's just taking my mind a little bit longer to accept the fact that, oh, okay, we're going to have another baby here, and my body is changing so much faster than I remember it. And all these pregnancy symptoms are just like hitting me so hard. And now this is my first pregnancy in my 30s. And so it's been a lot for me to handle. And so I want to share like the mistakes that I'm making with this one, but I haven't even finished out this pregnancy yet. So I think my biggest mistake that I'll probably look back on is just like, lesson is that God equips you for whatever life throws at you. And sometimes life can just throw a curveball at you, like a baby that you maybe weren't quite expecting yet, or job changes, and God will equip you for all of these things. And I know He's equipping me right now, even though I don't quite feel it yet. Like there's still so much doubt in my mind of, man, how am I going to do this? I've got this mom of 4 thing down. How am I going to do mom of 5? Like that's a handful of kids. How am I going to do this? But just knowing that God's here with us all the time, in the sorrow, in the joys, and in these growing seasons. He's equipping us all the time. So that's the biggest lesson. And then just trying to find joy in surrendering my expectations of this pregnancy, and just trying to laugh about the fact that, hey, my body's changing, but also I've done this before, and I know I gain a lot of weight, and I will lose it eventually, and all will be well. So just having that wisdom of, I know what's going to happen, even though it's still hard to see your body change and to shift and just all the pregnancy symptoms. But also I have that knowing that I know what to do. I've done this before, and we've made it out alive these last 4 times. I'll make it out alive again. I don't know if that was depressing or helpful, but hopefully it was encouraging. Each of my pregnancies has taught me, and I see now looking back how God just like shaped every pregnancy, every journey as a mom, and just shaped me into the woman that I am today. And I'll never forget this January, I went to visit my mom, and we've just had a lot of hard things happen in our life lately. My husband quitting his job, going into the ministry, that was hard. Then I lost my job a year later. That was super hard. Adding a 4th baby, our miscarriage. Now here we are pregnant again. And my mom had just said to me, she's like, Katie, I just feel like you've changed into a woman who is way more understanding of other people. And there's just this peace about you. And I know I'm butchering the words that she used, but I do feel like I just kind of have this just grace for other people. I was kind of a judgmental person to myself, especially those first few babies, just like judging myself constantly, and then in turn judging other people, because when you judge yourself all the time, it's just second nature to judge other people. And now that I've had just so many different experiences and different kids and different issues, I have a lot of grace for people. And I just have a lot of grace and empathy for all the moms out there. And I know that God was working really hard to shape me into the woman that I am today, to say like, hey, Katie, you need to have a little bit more grace for yourself and for the women around you, because we're all just trying to do our best, and you don't know what it's like for them. Also, if you're in the middle of pregnancy or postpartum, I hope this is an encouragement to just give yourself some grace. Pregnancy doesn't go the way that we want it to all the time. Sometimes it can just be like the best experience, and you're reading all the books and you just feel totally, with it, and everything goes perfectly. And then some pregnancies, it just depends what's going on in your life. Maybe you're moving, maybe you're coming off a miscarriage, maybe some hard things are happening in your family while you're also trying to like grow a human and, eat nutritious foods. And then you're just feeling so much guilt and just all this pressure from everyone telling you different things to do. So just slow down, have some grace for yourself. At the end of the day, like, your baby's gonna be okay. As long as you're not like doing drugs and partying every night, I think you're going to be just fine. So you're doing awesome, and I'm really proud of you. And I really appreciate you making it to the end of this video. And then I would love to hear from other moms who, what are your pregnancy lessons? What did you learn? I think also for me, I didn't really mention this in any of the ones when I probably should have, was just that like daily exercise and taking care of myself physically really helps me mentally. So that should have been something I shared, but I just kind of went off on a different direction here. But I could definitely do a whole video on just what I've learned with working out while pregnant. I think I will do that. Just a totally dedicated one because I feel like I have a lot of tips for that as well. So, anyways, but I would love to hear, what did you learn? What did you really like that you did during pregnancy? You're like, I would do that again. Any tips, any mistakes? We want to hear it in the comments. So please let me know. And if you have no mistakes or any lessons that you learned that you want to share in the comments, just drop a heart. That makes me, it helps our channel, and it also helps me know that you made it to the end here. So thank you so much for watching. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and I hope to see you in my next video. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching.